Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pity that instruments that measure pollutions in India stop at 500. Maybe it is time to expand their lung power and take it to 1,000, because if you live in the national capital, you know that we maxed out this morning. Of course, that is not what the official CPCB data said. In true Sarkari style, it was hovering around the 350-390 mark till citizens in the NCR region started questioning them publicly. Point is, ladies and gentlemen, you can downplay data, but you simply cannot downplay what we saw and felt this morning. The deadly duo of smog and pollution meant even perfectly healthy people found it difficult to breathe. Pollution levels, ladies and gentlemen, in the Delhi-NCR region are at a point where most European nations would have shut down. Not us. The irony of ironies, the choking combination of smog and pollution is coming just a day after Delhi's environment minister is claiming that the air quality this year was actually better in the national capital than last year. Listen in.
पिछले सालों के अगर प्रदूषण के स्तर को देखा जाए तो 1 नवंबर के बाद 15 नवंबर तक लगभग हर साल दिल्ली का एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स 400 से पार जाता रहा है, लेकिन इस साल अभी तक एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स दिल्ली का सीवियर कैटेगरी, गंभीर कैटेगरी में नहीं गया है.
He spoke too soon. Clearly, he spoke too soon. And just in case you think it's Delhi, at 5 p.m. today, ladies and gentlemen, India hit the dubious record of having the top 10 most polluted cities in the world. Chandigarh was at number 2. Ambala was at number 3. Just to tell you, and here's a caveat, this data keeps changing every hour. What I've shown you was what was happening at 5 o'clock this evening. So my simple question is this evening. Why can't we put preventive measures in place before we come to a toxic turn of 450 or 500? Ladies and gentlemen, in the Delhi-NCR region, we have not even done the basic of shutting schools down and taking cars off the road or stopping construction activity. It's pretty amazing for a country where 464 children under the age of 5 die every day due to factors linked to pollution. Pretty amazing also for a country that is getting ready to celebrate Children's Day tomorrow. What are we waiting for? For pollution levels to beat Pakistan's record of 2100 before we wake up and smell the smog? Well, just because our netas can't do their job, we at NER now have tried to do it for them with a simple 5-point action plan. First, on an urgent basis, shut down schools to protect children from toxic air. Next, make work from home mandatory for industries where it is possible. This will help reduce vehicular emission. 13% of the pollution today in Delhi is because of vehicular emission. Thirdly, temporarily ban all construction and demolition activities to cut down on the dust. Also, bring back the odd-even vehicle rationing scheme to reduce traffic. And finally, for heaven's sake, ban older BS3 petrol and BS4 diesel vehicles which contribute heavily to pollution in Delhi. This is basic common sense. Only if our netas can follow it. I feel a distinct sense of deja vu as I introduce my guests this evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. But before I introduce my guest, there is a piece of breaking news that is coming in. And really, this one is me scratching my head. Despite no let-up in the smog conditions in the national capital, there is still no decision to move up to the GRAP 3 stage. Now, after initially underplaying it this morning, the CAQM has admitted, and they've just issued a press release, they have admitted that Delhi's air quality is severe, which means it is more than 400, whether or not you believe it is 500. Delhi's air quality CAQM is agreeing that is severe right now. Yet they are saying we will take a call on invoking GRAP 3 only after reviewing the situation tomorrow. Seriously, aren't these the rules that as soon as your pollution levels cross 400, GRAP 3 kicks in? In fact, our pollution levels in the national capital are 450 plus at 7 o'clock. That means GRAP 4, not GRAP 3, should be kicking in. Why is it not kicking in? What are we waiting for? Dr. Anil Gupta is spokesperson of the BJP. Advocate Anmol Panwar is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Dr. Mohan P. George is a consultant at the Clean Air and Sustainable Mobility. He is also an ex-additional director at the Delhi Pollution Control Committee. Thank you very much. Gurfan Beg is founder, project of Safar. And we have Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, who's chairperson of the Nephron Clinic, joining us on the broadcast. Before I get the others in, I'm going to get Dr. Sanjeev Bagai in as a citizen. Also as a doctor, but as a citizen. Dr. Bagai, what explains this? First, you are in denial about what your pollution levels are. Okay, you give us a figure of 350, 360. Then all other private agencies start saying that in some places Delhi's pollution level has crossed 500. Citizens start questioning you. You somehow correct and moderate your pollution levels and at what AQI they are. Now, CAQM, which is the watchdog of pollution in the national capital, is telling us, okay, we are in the severe category, but we are not putting GRAP 3 in place, and we are making no attempt to shut schools because we'll wait and see what the conditions are tomorrow. Agar hawa chal gayi, pollution khatam ho gaya, to GRAP 3 kyun lagaye? Are bhai, parson hawa nahi chali to? What are they thinking? Are they in coma, Dr. Bagai?
Good evening, good evening. I think this is a monumental man-made disaster of catastrophic proportions. It's not destroying this generation, but many future generations. And this is like an ongoing pandemic, day by day, month by month, year by year. Play any program of any channel of the last 5 years and you'll probably see the same discussion. That means the Delhi government has not delivered for us basic right to live, that is to have clean air. Now, let me put things in a statistical form first. We are losing more than 2 million Indians directly because of air pollution every year. Our AQI of PM 2.5, particulate matter size 2.5, is crossing hundreds. It's crossing hundreds. That's what gives the figure of AQI. More than 5 micrograms, mind you, we are reaching 400, 500, gives you a 4% increase in all-cause mortality, that's death rate. More than 10 gives you 8%. More than 35 figure gives you 24%. And every microgram increase gives you an equivalent of 12,000 deaths per year in India. We are having twofold increase of sudden cardiac arrest. We are having twofold increase of heart attacks and strokes. Okay. It involves bronchitis, chest, lung, cancers, you name it, including pregnancies and unborn fetus. I feel that just hearing the press conference of the Environment Minister, I think this gentleman perhaps has come from another planet. Children are getting affected even as newborns. The elderlies can't breathe. They cannot go out for a walk. People at work can't have a proper breathing pattern. People are having chronic nagging cough. The incidence of hypertension is going up. In the last 5 years, at least being here in Delhi for the last 30 years, I have seen no improvement of managing road dust and road maintenance. I have seen no improvement at all of public transport. The construction norms are violated, just as you can say, please. Schools must be shut down on an emergency basis right now. The announcement should be made. Work at home must be made mandatory as far as possible. And very important is health advisories need to go for people with comorbidities, young children, elderly, especially with history of wheezing, have to be really, really careful. Over to you.
Okay. Dr. Anmol Panwar, I'm going to ask you a straight question, and please don't make this about Delhi versus Haryana versus Punjab versus Himachal Pradesh. This is a straight question to you. And I'm adding a caveat before I ask you this question. The job of ordering GRAP 3 or GRAP 4 lies on the CAQM, not on the Delhi government. It's just the Delhi government's job to implement it. I'm putting that caveat in front of our viewers. But Advocate Anmol Panwar, please help me understand. Why, when AQIs are at 450 plus at 7 p.m. this evening, forget GRAP 4, even GRAP 3 is not being put in place. Why are children being sent to school today in an environment as toxic as what we have seen today? The doctor on this panel is saying shut schools immediately. What is the big deal? Why do you want children to breathe this air? 460 children die every day in this country because of pollution-related issues. Why do you want to add to the count?
Shreya ji, as you rightly pointed out, that it is the responsibility of CAQM. CAQM is Commission of Air Quality and Management, which is a central body which has overarching powers to monitor the air quality in Delhi and even in other states as well. And if you could recall what the Honorable Supreme Court said about CAQM, that they, in the last 3 years, it seems that it has become redundant and ineffective because they have not complied with any of the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court, because they have not even called a meeting in last 3 years. Rarely they have called 2 or 3 meetings. So it tells us about how much concern the central government has about this rising pollution. And certainly, as Delhi government, we want to provide a healthy environment to all the citizens. So whatever is under our purview, we are making best efforts to give a healthy environment to the Delhiites, whether it's boosting the public transport, whether it's providing 24-hour electricity, whether it's closing down of industries operating on coal, whether it's conversion of industries from petrol, PNG to petrol and diesel to PNG, whether it's about increasing
Point is,
the green
Advocate
cover.
Panwar,
And
आप दलील तो दे सकते हैं, but your दलील is falling flat today. Because if you look at private websites, in many places, AQI has crossed 500. That is not acceptable. When AQIs cross 500, governments are supposed to make a big deal about it. We have not heard from the Chief Minister at all. Why is she not stepping out and saying, pollution levels have crossed a limit to a point where we should be shutting down schools? I'm requesting the CAQM to implement GRAP 4. Or I'm taking the unilateral decision of shutting down all of Delhi's schools, all of Delhi's government schools. So, you can say you're doing this and you're doing that, but frankly, by the looks of it, no one is doing anything. Dr. Mohan George, you've served in the DPCC. Can I then ask you, is this entire GRAP... Sir, एक minute रुक जाइए. Okay, jaldi se, in 20 seconds.
देखिए दलील की बात आपने की. Have you watched that video wherein the UP government, how are they, figures को किस तरह से manipulate किया जा रहा है? Have you watched that? The place where they have to collate this data, वहाँ पे artificial rain की जा रही है so that the AQI can be showed under control. It can be shown in good category. This is how they are fooling the people.
Advocate Panwar, those videos are also available from Delhi. Those videos are also available from Delhi, where sprinkler machines are around measuring instruments.
Not at all.
So let's not get into that territory. Because as they say, इस हमाम में सब नंगे हैं.
देखिए, तो सबकी चर्चा भी तो कीजिए. सबकी करिए ना, आप गाजियाबाद की चर्चा कीजिए, हरियाणा की चर्चा कीजिए, फरीदाबाद की चर्चा कीजिए, मेरठ की चर्चा कीजिए.
आज मेरी चर्चा सिंपल है.
सबका जीवन इतना ही महत्व रखता है.
Pollution is a very wide umbrella. I just want to focus on the fact that if pollution levels in India's capital are touching 450, 500, depending on what you believe, why are children being sent to school?
So,
why are people not being asked to work from home? No, simple questions. But Dr. Mohan George, sir, एक minute रुक जाइए.
Every life is important, Shreya ji. It's not just about
there are other guests on this show.
Delhi.
I want to... No, it is, to me, primarily it is about children who suffer from pollution the most. 30% children in this city have smoker lungs. At this point of time, despite not being a smoker, me and all of you are smoking 12 to 15 cigarettes a day, if not more. There is a
not
serious trouble.
Delhi,
and
not just in
section
Delhi, but
that
in
is under most trouble
well.
are children.
Not just in Delhi, but in
Dr.
adjoining
Mohan
states
George,
as well,
I'm
in
going to
UP
get you
as
in
well, in
here.
Haryana as well.
In
But we are
Punjab
not
as well, which today was the second most polluted city in this country after Delhi. Dr. Mohan George, you are someone who served as at the DPCC. Please help me understand whether this entire GRAP formula is a flop, it's a sham. Why do we even have this formula or intervention policy in place when it is not being implemented, when it's required to be implemented? 400 pe the rules are clear, GRAP 3 will come. 450 pe GRAP 4 will come. We are above 450. GRAP 4 तो छोड़िए, GRAP 3 भी नहीं आ रहा. CAQM is saying हम कल देखेंगे. What is this? This is a sham.
When we see this GRAP, this one or pre-revised, which is notified in 2017, the GRAP is actually standard operating procedure. When you cross a certain number, here what we are talking 400, it means you are in the stage 3, you crossed it. Then GRAP clearly mentions which stakeholder take which step. MCD will do this, the Commissioner of Transport will do this, DPCC will do this. It's very clear. Where is the requirement of order? You have to start it immediately. If you require every time administrative order, then it means GRAP is not there. To remove this administrative hurdle, only GRAP is envisaged at that time, when the first notification came and when we revised. So it is clearly mentioned, when you are at 400, you are in the severe. When you are crossing 300, you are in the poor. It means the stakeholder in the automated mode, they have to start. Why? Where is the requirement of order? There is no requirement of order.
Correct. Absolutely,
so, Shreya,
you are right. There is no requirement of order. Yet the CAQM has said, we will wait for GRAP 3 till tomorrow. There are wind conditions that will come which will take the pollution away. Okay, tomorrow wind conditions will come. Day after wind conditions will come. What after the day after? Plus, you know, as someone who served in the government, sir, it is also true that the Ministry of Earth Sciences has an early warning system, which means everyone knew that on November 13th, this is going to be the situation in the national capital. Then why weren't schools closed? If you have an early warning system, what's the point of having that early warning system? If you have GRAP rules in place and SOPs in place, what is the point of having them if you're not going to use them?
Shreya, I think if we just consider the history or the previous data from 2010 onwards, everyone knows between the October 15th and November 15th, the condition will worsen. Why it is? Because the wind direction changes and agriculture residue burning and other things are there, and meteorology plays the role. So the condition will worsen. That everyone knows. For that, no prediction is required. Nothing is required. But SAFAR has a prediction system. And of course, on the Supreme Court order, IIT and all of the decision-making tool also. So prediction is there. And till last year, that real-time source apportionment project is going on. So you are getting the prediction from there also. So, but after all, someone have to initiate action, either the stakeholder themselves, because there is a SOP. And now there is no need
there's
of
only the Supreme
any
Court
research.
left.
You have sufficient data. This is the most studied city. Yeah, Shreya, you're telling something.
Correct. So therefore, now there's only the Supreme Court, which for the last 40 years has been trying to clean Delhi's air. CAQM was put in place as the watchdog of Delhi-NCR's pollution, to speak to all stakeholders, act on time. Look at what the Supreme Court has said about them in the last 4 or 5 weeks. They have called them silent spectators. They've called them total non-compliance has happened. Why haven't you met in more than once in 3 months? I mean, the Supreme Court has said what they can say to the CAQM. Even the CAQM has not woken up and done its job. Gurfan Beg, I want to come to you on the point of data, because आज सुबह से बड़ी बहस चल रही है. everywhere in Delhi NCR. When people woke up to the smog and the pollution, till 8 o'clock this morning, people who went to leave their children to bus stops said it was completely dark. We couldn't see anything, right? Now, when people came back home and looked at the data, government data said pollution levels 350, 360. Private data from at least 3-4 websites was showing that AQI levels have already breached the 450, 500 mark. How do you explain this discrepancy? Is the government fudging its data or moderating its data to avoid bad headlines and bad press? Because they have now rationalized it. By evening, even CPCB data was saying that Delhi is 450 plus, which means it has reached in the very severe category. But in the morning, most people were amazed to see that data was still stuck at 350 and 360. Does it happen? Can you fudge data? Do governments fudge data like this?
Shreya, good evening. It's a very, very pertinent question, and then I will explain you. See, there are two aspects of it. One is that WHO related some private AQI-IN was showing something like 1,000, 1,200, our was 350 and all. That was basically the conversion from concentration to AQI formulation, because their 15 microgram per meter cube is equivalent to 100 AQI, whereas our is 60 is 100 AQI. But that is one aspect of it. Second aspect of it, I can tell you that even during 31st of October and 1st October, air quality has gone to severe level, 2 days, as my independent calculation says. Reason is very clear that you can see in the agency's hourly data, and it is anybody's calculation that just take an average of last 24 hours. If you see something, air quality is going 250 microgram per meter cube, PM 2.5, it is severe, which was happening like. But there is a issue here. What is the issue? If you see in a CPCB website, they put a filter at 500 on an hourly basis. So the point is that air quality, you may have seen, air quality never goes above 500. It is fine. As per the rules that above 500 AQI health impacts are same whether it is 1,000 or 2,000. So that is perfectly okay. But CAQM has to be done at 24-hour average. You take it, then you put a CAQM on 500. But here in the website, CAQM is kept at 1 hour. So if value is 1,000, suppose in an hour, and AQI is calculated, then you will restrict to 250. 1,000 will go to 250. That is the catch. So the point is that severity has gone, but officially, whatever the software has been prepared in CPCB, that will show severe quite late. And that is where it has happened, that it has shown in the evening instead of morning. Because from 9 o'clock onwards, air quality has gone to severe, almost severe kind of a number in the night, 9 p.m. yesterday. You can see every hour data. It has gone 400, 500, 600, 800, 300, 400. About everything is about 250. So if you took it all, and then before that, it was 60, 70, 80, 90. So 12 hour, if smaller value, 12 hour higher value, even then at 9 o'clock in the morning, it should start showing severe. But it did not.
Okay, I understand. You're saying it's the way the system is designed. The system is designed to, you are saying essentially in layman's terms, if the AQI is at 500 at 9 a.m. in the morning, the system is designed to show it only by evening, right? That is what you're saying in layman's terms. So, the Gurfan Beg, I'm very quickly then going to ask you, according to Suffer,
right,
what was the AQI today in India's national capital? Did it go above 500? Did it reach 800 as you're saying?
No, I am now not in Suffer. I am a chair professor at Bangalore IISc, but by looking at the data, I can see that it was in severe in the morning. But you need not to go to Suffer. You can go to the DPCC website and calculate 24-hour average. It was there in severe, 400 plus.
We don't, as citizens, we don't even need to go to the website. We actually just need to step out of our houses and breathe that air. And we can tell now we only have become measuring instruments. As soon as you start coughing, when you step out, you know that AQI has crossed 400, 450. Dr. Anil Gupta, you know, it is very easy to blame each other, right? It is very easy for the BJP to blame the Aam Aadmi Party and the Aam Aadmi Party to blame the BJP and for the Aam Aadmi Party to blame the CAQM. मतलब ये blame game passing the parcel करते रहिए, कोई problem नहीं है. But here's the point. While the BJP can very well blame the Aam Aadmi Party for Delhi's pollution problems, fact is, Dr. Anil Gupta, the Prime Minister of India lives in India's national capital. India's parliament is in Delhi, right? Today, in the area where the Prime Minister lives and Delhi's Chief Minister lives, AQI levels were beyond 400, 450. This country does have an environment minister, right? His name is Bhupender Yadav. He's a very competent man from what I hear. Why do we not hear from him at all when it comes to Delhi's pollution? क्या Delhi सिर्फ आम आदमी पार्टी का सरदर्द है? It is India's national capital. Where is the central government?
Yeah. Should I reply?
Yes, sir.
Shreya ji, should I reply?
Yes, Dr. Gupta, please do.
Yeah, good evening to you and all the viewers. I request you to... Yeah. Certainly it is very easy to blame, but if you talk to me in the technical terms, you know, we have a Delhi government, we have a central government. And I can definitely give you 10 reasons what central government is doing and what Delhi state government is not doing. For in the previous year also, I was in debate with you. I repeatedly mentioned that Delhi government is not doing even a single thing to control the internal pollution. You know, if you go by the data, in the year 2024, Delhi doesn't breathe even a single day good air. We never had AQI less than 50. You can check the record. It is available everywhere. That means around the year, the internal pollution, the source of internal pollution is very high in Delhi. It is very easy to blame the central government. I can tell you tens of the reasons what central government has done. And you talked of the central environment minister. He is doing a lot of things. He has allotted 3,330 crores of rupees to do Punjab and Haryana for stable management. The machines are lying with the Punjab government. How many cases are there? You know, in this winter season, every year the problem comes. So last 10 years, can Gopal Rai name even a single point wherein he does even a single point to control the interpollution? 10 days before, there was a decision by the Honorable Supreme Court wherein they mentioned, when they reprehended the Delhi government why they are not taking care of 3,100 tons of solid waste which is being generated regularly on Delhi and that is lying on the roads and the vacant plots which is generating PM2.5. You talked about the AQI. You know, it is true that it doesn't, the reading doesn't go beyond 500. But if you if you see the Samir app, you know, today PM2.5 has a maximum reading of 1,500. And sometimes in some hour it is 1,000. PM10 has a maximum reading of 938. What is the source? Out of 8 parameters, 2 parameters trouble. Today Delhi is full of smog. How the smog is created? All the panelists are technical. They know.
Dr. Gupta.
When the temperature
Dr.
is
Gupta,
down.
इसमें technical की बात नहीं है. You just have to Google and go to the Earth Science Ministry. And when you Google and go to the website of the Earth Science Ministry, they tell you exactly what is causing pollution in Delhi on that particular day. The contributing factor today is not stubble burning. Stubble burning is actually contributing only 18% to Delhi's pollution today. 13% is vehicular traffic. 32% pollution for Delhi is coming from nearby cities like Ghaziabad, etc. Industries is 3%. Construction is 3%. So, you know, even the share of stubble burning, as far as Delhi's pollution goes, keeps changing. Sometimes it reaches 40%, but today it is at 18%, and yet Delhi's air quality has maxed out when it comes to terrible levels. The point is, Dr. Gupta, ab BJP kuch bhi bol le. I will let the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson respond.
You have rightly said. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं।
एक मिनट रुक जाइए। डॉक्टर गुप्ता, देखिए मैंने आपको बोलने दिया। पॉइंट इज,
मैं भी टेक्निकल आदमी हूँ।
बोल लीजिए, बीजेपी कुछ भी बोल ले, और आम आदमी पार्टी कुछ भी बोल ले, और CAQM कुछ भी बोल ले। Fact is, we are seeing what has happened today. Fact also is, this is the first day of the smog season. We'll see these days in the future as well. And why is that happening? It is happening because stakeholders don't talk to each other on time. It is happening because the Supreme Court can keep saying what they say. No one is interested in pollution till we come to mid-October. जैसे ही पराली जलनी शुरू होती है, everyone wakes up to the problem of pollution. Dr. Bagai, I'm getting you back into the conversation. Is that what you feel the problem is? And not just governments, and not just the CAQM, but even the Supreme Court. एक मिनट रुक जाइए. Even the Supreme Court will only get active once they see farm fires start raging in Haryana and Punjab. We don't have a plan. Essentially, the point is we don't have a plan, Dr. Bagai.
Yeah, you know, we talk of this, Shreya, well said, we talk of this primarily during the winter time because the ceiling is being blown off with the smog and pollution. But pollution in Delhi is a 12-month issue. Children are maximum exposed. I have 3 quick points. Because they leave home early at the coldest part where the smog is the worst because of the humidity and the dew, and they are exposed for the greatest period of time outside home environment. Their lung capacity is less, their immune system is still to be developed, and therefore they are affected the most. Point number 2, we keep talking of PM 2.5, but let us not forget the open halals all over Delhi in residential areas, which are releasing gases, including hydrocarbons, including volatile gases, including heavy metals, which is causing disaster for people's lungs and heart. Point number 3, and very quickly, is you need only 15 minutes of exposure to this level of severe or hazardous AQI for the inflammation to set in. You need only 2 days before you can actually have documented cardiac arrest and heart attacks. This is published data from Lancet. This is not what you and I or anyone else is individually giving anecdotal episodes. This is serious stuff. This is a health crisis. This is an emergency situation. We need to make all stakeholders understand that there is a value to Delhi's life or to an Indian's life. Let's be proud that we want to live in a clean environment. We must each person be a flag holder of having a clean environment. This is unfair, this is unacceptable, and we will die early. We are already losing 8 to 10 years of our adult life as far as a lifespan is concerned. Is this what we want in Delhi? The answer is no. I'm not bothered about political party A, B, or C. I want results on the table. I'm an honest Indian. I'm a taxpayer citizen. I want to see results. I don't want my kids to suffer. I don't want my old parents to suffer. Again, I say, unfair, unacceptable.
I think that's the view and the sentiment of every citizen from the Delhi-NCR region who woke up to the smog and pollution this morning. Dr. Bagai, thank you very much for being the citizen's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, to the government, please be honest. Give us real data. Don't fudge data. Give us real data and give us a real plan on how you will clean up Delhi's pollution. You've been telling us you're doing it, and when I say the government, I mean the Aam Aadmi Party and the central government. For the last 10 years, you've not managed to do it. At least have a plan. This is a health emergency. There are children dying. There are people dying. How many do you want to die? How many more do you want to die? It's as simple as that. We leave it there for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm fairly certain, actually I'm 100% sure that all our panelists will be back either tomorrow and day after having the same discussion. Because once again, Delhi's AQI would have breached 400, 500. Again, I'm saying, depending on which data you are willing to believe. For the moment, we'll wrap it here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Bagai. Thank you, Dr. Anil Gupta. Advocate Anmol, Panwar, thank you very much. Dr. George, it was good to have you on the show and get your perspective. Thank you very much. And Gurfan Beg, thank you very much for your time as well.